Good morning and welcome to the Greg Belfrage After Show. It is great to have you along. We're back down in the comfortable confines of my office. So great to have you along. Today was kind of a bumpy day. We had I get a little bit agitated sometimes with some of the callers, and I want to make sure certain that everybody understands. When I am sharing stories, I am telling you what's going on. We were talking about the president and Democrats in particular who are trying to move. They want to see somebody else run for president, and so they're taking steps. And there was a story involving Tom Harkin, who's a former senator from Iowa. And I was sharing that story, and I was sharing the reaction of others. And a caller who said, now again, I wasn't talking about in those stories, it was all comments by Democrats. So he calls up and he says, I don't know why Republicans are trying. I want Joe Biden to run for president. And well, the only Republican who was talking was me. I mean, I wasn't sharing comments from any Republican at all. I was sharing comments from Democrats. I want to make certain that people really kind of understand that, I'm trying to make you aware of what's going on out there. And I think I want Joe Biden to run. He drew the impression because I was talking about what Iowa Senator Tom Harkin is saying and what other Democrats are saying. They're encouraging Biden to step down. Make no mistake. I want to see Joe Biden run. I want to see Joe Biden versus Donald Trump again. And I want to see that happen. But I'm not a Democrat. I am a Republican. And so what I think certainly the reaction going on from Democrats and the conversations that they're having and the things that they're saying, I think are certainly relevant. But because I share those, it doesn't mean that I'm hoping that Joe Biden is going to step down. Nothing could be further from the truth. I haven't said anything that would lead any of you to believe that. So I don't know if that was just a caller who was, maybe not catching all of what I said. Pretty faithful listener as far as I know. But we've got to be able to talk about these things. I'm trying to give you a view of what's going on in the world and what's going on in politics, what's going on with events. And when I do that, it means I'm going to be sharing news with you that I may not agree with things that people are saying, but I think if you want to be a well-informed person, you've got to be aware of those things. You've really got to be aware of them and be tuned in. And as I have said all the time, I want you to make your own decisions. Right or wrong, me. Whether you think I'm right or wrong doesn't matter as long as you listen tomorrow. That's what I've always said. Stole that from Rush. But just because I'm sharing what Democrats are doing, it's their party. The Democrat Party is their party. So they're having those conversations. And I think it's something that Republicans should be mindful of. And I think it's one of the reasons why you're seeing the National Republican Senatorial Committee, I believe, among others, who are taking actions. They want to make sure that Biden is the actual nominee, the Democrat nominee. So there's a lot of, their Democrats are flustered after that incredibly bad debate performance. And that is a story that is just not going to go away. I think as much as the White House would love it to go away, we've got the First Lady, Jill Biden, who was on the cover of Vogue. She went in for a Vogue cover shoot, and there's a story on her. And she's saying, absolutely, the president is not dropping out of the race. Now, well, that's what she wants. And we'll see as to whether or not that's going to wind up being the case. But there are a number of other Democrats who are saying some, pretty disturbing things. A couple of stories here I wanted to share with you this morning. Jake Tapper now, after the debate the other night, Jake Tapper is reacting to this. And he played a montage of some of the moments where Biden had a tough time during the CNN debate. And Tapper says Democratic officials have tried to spin this in many ways. They say President Biden just had a cold. They said it was just one off night. He said, but behind the scenes, make no mistake, most Democratic officials witnessed the same shocking spectacle that you did. The difficulty that the President of the United States had just articulating his basic thoughts during the 90 minutes of the debate, he says. And he went on to say, and this shocked me a little bit because I quote 1984 often, and we talk about the ministry of truth. That's from the book 1984. It was George Orwell who talked about the ministry of truth. And that's what I believe Karine Jean-Pierre is at the White House, the ministry of truth. But he said the spinning of the debate performance is all very reminiscent of the George Orwell quote from the book 1984. And he said, it's relevant again today. The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. And then Tapper said that won't happen on his show. He's doubling down. So there's also another story this morning. This is coming from, again, the conversation about the president, and this is pretty crazy that this is coming from the post-millennial. The Biden camp is claiming that there were a number of outlets that were calling for the president to drop out of the race, right? Editorials that ran, the New York Times among them, as well as others. One of them was the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. And we've got Keisha Lance Bottoms, who said now again, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution and their editorial board wrote a piece saying that they believe that Joe Biden should drop out of the race. And this is not because they're big Donald Trump fans. They're concerned about the president, his mental acuity, all of those things that all of us have been concerned about. So Keisha Lance Bottoms says, I don't think it's fair when an editorial board with 10 people sitting in a room are trying to influence an election. What? Where the hell does that nonsense come from? Editorial boards coming up with their opinions is as old, is as old as the country is. What in the bloody hell is she talking about? That is just, oh man, Democrats, I tell you, they just, they provide some laughter for me, if nothing else. She is a real piece of work. So there you go. Also, this is new this morning. And this is coming from the Hill, that Democrats are urging the Biden campaign to shift course after the debate disaster. This is a story this morning. So what now, 4 days after the debate, we are still seeing these stories. And Biden's campaign, the White House, and some of his top allies are insisting he's not going anywhere. Senator Chris Coons of Delaware, who is the co-chair of the president's campaign, Chris Coons said Monday he called for the president to have more unscripted moments, which is pretty risky when you consider you have unscripted moments. That's when the president goes off into, we get which happened last week. It's like, what? They want more. They want more of that kind of stuff. So some Democrat lawmakers and strategists think Biden and their party's best move is to pivot to offense by ramping up attacks on Trump and the conservative-dominated Supreme Court. And what have you seen? What have we seen today? We have seen Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and others. They're going after the U.S. Supreme Court and their decision on this. Yeah, bring it on. Bring it on. Keep Joe Biden in the White House and in the race and bring it on. And this is a Senate Democratic strategist said there are days when Biden is the smartest person in the room, and I'm sure there are days when his age is slowing him down. But Biden needs to, and the campaign needs to show more days where he's at the top of his game, where he is gregarious, where he is interacting, where he is quick on his feet. That's how you turn this around. They have to show the American people that what happened last Thursday was an anomaly. See, I don't think it was an anomaly. Yeah, I don't think it was an anomaly, what we saw last Thursday. I think that was the real Joe Biden. Despite what all these folks are saying, I think they are trying to prop him up. Yeah, I think what America saw last Thursday was the real Joe Biden. Also, there's a story from Fox News, and actually it was an interview on CNN, Carl Bernstein, and I shared this in the latter part of the show this morning. And again, as I said, as I began this, the after show today, I think if you want to be well informed, you've got to know what is going on. I mean, you've got to know what people are saying. You've got to know what their attitudes are. Democrats, legacy media, and all of those things. In order to be well informed, I think you have to do those things. It doesn't mean you agree with them, but you do have to be mindful of what they're saying. Carl Bernstein was on Anderson Cooper's show on Monday night. And so last night, talking about the debate. And Bernstein said there are people, several of them who are very close to President Biden, who love him, have supported him, and are he said, among them are some people who would raise a lot of money for him. And they are adamant that what we saw the other night, the Joe Biden we saw, is not a one-off, that there have been 15, 20 occasions in the last year and a half when the president has appeared somewhat as he did in that horror show that we witnessed, he said, talking about the debate. And he said, and what's so significant is that the people that this is coming from, and also how many people around the president are aware of such incidents, including some reporters, incidentally, who have witnessed some of them, he says. He went on to say that this is a problem and that some of these folks, there were people that were going to Ron Klain, who oversaw the president's debate prep, excuse me, so oversaw the president's debate prep. They went to Ron Klain and they told him, we have a problem. And they told him about some of these issues going on with the president. And they knew about it. They knew about it. And despite that, they never should have agreed to a debate. I'm glad that they did. Don't misunderstand. But I mean, speaking simply strategy-wise, what an absolute mistake to allow the president to debate, knowing all these things that Bernstein is saying that on CNN, folks knew. And a growing number of folks are aware. And they knew this. They let him debate anyway, which is, to me, is just absolutely shocking. And you got to believe there will not be another debate. I can't imagine. I mean, if the Democrats now are really trying a circle the wagons kind of approach, and they want to prop Joe Biden up, they want to stand behind Joe Biden, and that's going to be the approach. I can't imagine that they would ever let him go out and do another debate. Just not happening. But anyway, Bernstein said, I think that what these folks are saying and have been saying for a while, he says a year and a half, people have been saying this. Yes, he's great when we see him, as we have, but he also has these inexplicable moments that we're very concerned about. And you, Ron Klain, and the First Family, we need to talk about this. And they've been pushed back repeatedly whenever it's been brought up. So they pushed back that, no, not the case, push back, don't believe it. So you got a growing number of people in the media who are, Carl Bernstein among them, who is out there saying this, and the Biden camp absolutely in denial. But what else is new? I mean, from a Republican perspective, okay? So now let's look at it as Republicans are. This is nothing new. They don't want to hear what they don't want to hear. They have got their version of the truth. And anybody who stands in the way of that, whether it's Donald Trump, U.S. Supreme Court, anybody else, is to be trod upon, trampled. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. I didn't ever imagine that the White House, even a Democrat White House, a Biden White House, would be so insulated from reality, but they are. They are absolutely just insulated from reality, refusing to believe these things, even though they had, folks coming to them and saying, hey, this is what we're seeing in the president. We've been seeing it for months, a year and a half. You got to do something about it. No, not true. The problem is you. It's not with the president. That is just, to me, it's just absolutely nuts. But it is what it is. All right, we're going to wrap up there this morning. I don't have any additional emails to share with you outside of the show this morning. I do welcome your comments, though. So if you'd like to drop me an email, my email is always open to you. It's greg.belfrage@kelo.com. It's my email address, greg.belfrage@kelo.com. And I hope you're enjoying the webcam better than I've been using my phone initially because it was easy to get started. The webcam is just about as simple. And so I'm going to shuttle my webcam back and forth from the studio to my office and use the webcam each day. So it gives you a better view, and it's got a microphone built right into it. So, and it also frees up my phone then, especially on the show as I'm reading emails during the program and so on. So I hope the webcam image is a little bit sharper and better than what we've been doing here previously. Thanks again for letting me join you. Please give me a quick thumbs up, and I hope you have a great day. So long until tomorrow, my friend, and may God bless.